came down to San Antonio for Super Bowl.
You enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it.
I know it was
Yeah.
very
I was telling my son-in-law, I said, Patriots, you gotta watch them. In the second half, they come back.
good. You did?
Yeah, I told him.
I get an 8%, baby. All right, thank you.
Ma'am, I just wanted to record this for legal purposes, but I'm a patron of this store, and this isn't to cause any disruption. It's only for the lady behind me. I've told her numerous times to stop following me around the store and looking at me.
That's not just you, that's everybody, okay?
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, when I try to speak to her, she tells me she doesn't understand English.
She doesn't.
So now I respect that, and I don't want to disrespect her.
Okay.
But I feel disrespected when I come to spend my hard-earned money more than once a week here, and she's constantly following me and giving me eyes. What you may not, I understand that you have a business to protect,
Okay.
which is why cameras are in the place.
But
And
we still have people who
no, I understand that.
steal money, steal food from us, so that's
Okay,
why we have
there's
to
still
do that,
people who
okay?
steal money.
Okay.
Okay, so because that
we have
child
to protect
or
our
that
store,
person
okay?
stole.
Yes, we have a whole stack. Okay, so
I understand,
we have to protect the store.
but it's disrespectful
no,
when
it's not disrespectful.
she's following me
No,
up
she's
and
not
down the store.
following
She
you.
does it every time.
Well, then that's her job. Okay, so you cannot tell her.
Her
what
job is to follow me up
No,
and down the store.
Not just you, it's everybody.
Her-
We have to pay attention to everybody. We do not know who's who. Okay,
But what is there I can steal in here that's worth anything?
sweetie. Look, I have
That's
evidence and
the-
proof that people do steal at my store. Okay,
Ma'am,
So please.
I understand. What I'm telling
Okay,
you
if
is,
you're not happy, then
if I'm
you
not,
feel offended, then don't come back.
no,
Sorry.
it's not about not coming back. It's about you being in my neighborhood and
No.
me being a patron here,
No.
a paying patron.
I have a lot of patrons
No,
here. Okay,
that's
not just
fine.
You, okay,
It's not and it's not about just me. It's about anybody else who may come up in here and feel disrespected.
Okay.
So
Can I
this is
help
how
you,
you wanted
sir?
to handle it?
No, sir.
Okay, well, I just wanted to buy this. I'm still going to
Okay.
buy what I buy
Okay.
because I constantly buy here. I support your business,
Yes,
but
thank
when a
you. I
person
really
like her
appreciate it.
stands there giving me that face just like that, I was 7 years old when they first started doing this to me.
Okay.
And have this happened to you before, sir?
I mean, she do.
No, not just her. Has this happened to you before at a store before, where you get followed around, just you?
Yeah.
Has that happened to you before, sir?
Hey, sir, I just got in
Okay.
San Antonio.
Has that happened to you, ma'am?
I'm from San Antonio.
That happens everywhere, okay? And I understand that
Okay.
people steal, but I'm telling you that it's not fair.
It's nothing about fair on.
It is about
okay?
fair.
No. Okay, you want it because I have
Okay,
a
so,
line
so
waiting
thank
for
you.
me.
What's up, y'all? Back again today with a very special video. Today I'm with young Daniel Lee. Daniel, say what's up. Say what's up.
Hi.
There you go. Okay, so today I'm with Daniel Lee, and we're just kicking it by the pool today, getting some nice sunlight, some nice vitamin D. I actually wanted to make a quick video, a quick response video to another video I did recently. So if you've checked my channel, you may have seen my most recent video where I labeled it racism while shopping. Yeah, I labeled it racism while shopping. So in that, yeah, okay, baby. So in that video, what I did was I was at a store that is in my neighborhood, and I noticed that one of the older ladies who works at the store, who doesn't speak any English, every time I would come in there, she always grimaces at me, which is basically making unsavory faces at me, you know, and she's always constantly following me around the store. Now, this is actually a pretty deep topic that I feel like I could really go into, but I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want to touch some vital topics. So when we speak about being followed through the store, this is actually a phenomenon that happens quite often with African American people. I would say that maybe 80%, if not more, maybe 90%, if not more, of black people in America have been followed around a store. Now, we have to understand what this means. When I say followed around the store, I mean you as a black person are walking through a store, whether it be a beauty store, whether it be a restaurant, whether it be Walmart, whether it be a gas station, a corner store, a shoe store, a jewelry department. You're walking through random store USA as a black person, and you notice that the owner of the store or the employees of the store are following you in particular, and not even being, you know, covert or shy about it. They're just following you. They're just walking right past you, just walking with you, making eyes directly at you. And I'm sure you may have been through this before. If you have, let me know in the comments below about your situation. So anyway, this has happened to me since I was 7 years old. The first time it happened to me, I was 7 years old. I didn't know how to handle it at 7 years old, and I've had it happen to me many times since then. Sometimes it's actually happened one time at a restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants, my favorite Mexican restaurant here in Houston. I took my son's mom when she was pregnant with my son. I took her out so we could get some nice dinner. And as the waiter, a young Hispanic man was walking up to the table. He saw me and my girlfriend, and he said, "Ay, dos negritos." Now, if you know any Spanish, which I do, that basically means two Negroes, basically two niggas. And as a server, I understood what it meant, because he felt like two black people at his table means that he's not going to get tipped, and we may even give him a hard time. So, me sitting down, taking my pregnant girlfriend to a restaurant, I get called a nigga. When he finally came up to me, when the server finally came up to me, I told him that, hey, you know, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave. And I told him it's because, and I made direct eye contact with him. I told him I'm gonna have to leave because I'm a hardworking father and a civilian, and I'm paying my hard-earned dollars to support this business, and you just called me a nigga, and my girlfriend, and my unborn child. And so as opposed to yell at him and scream at him and make a scene about it, I just chose to tell him that that's how I felt, tell him that this is why I was leaving, and I left. And I haven't been back since to that establishment. This has happened to me in numerous places, not just restaurants, not just corner stores. There's many times in which I was confronted with blatant racism, and I had to act within my own freedom and with my own right to defend myself. So, I say all that to set up what happened yesterday. Yesterday, yes, I was walking through the store, and for the millionth time, I was followed through the store. Now, I'm well into my adulthood, and I have children of my own, so I have to think now of the ramifications of my actions. So when I saw this lady following me, and I noticed that I've told her before to stop following me, and she told me that she doesn't know English, I decided to do the next best thing, confront someone who does know English. So I began recording to show everyone what was going on, to document the fact that I was indeed being followed. I told the other employee of the store who did know English, and we see what happened on film. She began to basically belittle my concerns. She began to tell me that if I didn't like how they handle business there, that I can leave, and these type of things. The way that I handled the situation, when I turned on the camera, I genuinely wanted to show how, as a law-abiding civilian and patron of this store and a black man, how I am constantly treated, no matter where I go. This is all I wanted to show. It wasn't to make a statement about I'm not supporting this business or I'm gonna boycott this business. It wasn't even that big at the time. At the time, I just cut the video on to show, look, regardless of how I react, there's going to be an issue. And that's a further deeper issue that I wanted to also touch on, is the perception of black men in America, or black people in America, and particularly, yes, black men, how black men are unable to win. Because, believe it or not, I've been told that I'm aggressive by a number of people, including my own family, and by a number of white people, that I'm too aggressive. I come off too aggressive and too assertive. And many times people say that I need to calm down and I'm just looking too far into things, I'm overreacting. And now this video, in which I decided not to be the stereotypical black man, not to be the aggressor, not to be the agitator, not to be a violent, belligerent, ignorant fool, now I have my own fellow black people who are telling me that I acted weakly, to tell me that I acted stupidly, like a dumbass. These are quotes that fellow black people told me, as opposed to coaching me, or as opposed to actually realizing that, hey, this young man took the time, and regardless of the fact that he was disrespected, he actually kept his composure and reacted calmly. I got a few comments that actually commended me, but a number of comments actually attacked me, as opposed to attacking the Asian people who were displaying this bigotry, as opposed to attacking the fact that the other black people in the store didn't support me with that, but I was speaking out about it. They chose to attack me and say that I was weak. So let me ask you this: what would happen if I were to just start cursing at the lady when I didn't agree with her, or when I felt that she disrespected me? Don't you think then that I would have a number of people telling me that I acted like a nigger, or that I was acting violently, and see, these black people can't ever articulate themselves? What would happen if I were to not say anything and just leave the Snickers there, realize that they were following me, don't say anything, leave the Snickers there and leave? Would that have really caused an effect? Would those ladies at that store stop racially profiling black men and women in their store by me not saying anything and not doing anything? Okay? And lastly, I have to play devil's advocate in some regards. I never want to be too biased, so I want to give some credibility to the fact, or the argument, the opposing argument. The opposing argument to the video that I often got was that I shouldn't have still bought what I was in line for anyway. To that, I just want to quickly say, I was working all day. I was in an area that had only one store within the walking distance that I was going, because I was walking. And furthermore, I bought those items because I would, again, that would be the only thing that I ate that day. So for me to not buy those items and to walk out of the store to quote unquote prove a point, or to keep my pride intact, would mean that not only would then I go hungry that day, but then very likely this woman would still react the same way that she does. So this is why I ask, how can I win as a black man in America? Because there's many stores that I've left and never returned to. But for instance, if the only store within a 2-mile radius of your house has people who own it that do not like you or racially profile you, are you going to walk 4 miles or walk past that store and walk an additional 2-3 miles every single day to get what you need, just because you're a black person and you're trying to maintain your pride? If so, I commend you. But I would also say, realistically, it's a bit unfair to ask me, as a normal civilian, to leave and to not patronize every single store that racially profiles me, because again, that's been happening to me since I was 7 years old. Furthermore, I want to speak quickly about the Black Wall Street idea. People bring up the idea of a Black Wall Street, which you can research, which is a black-owned organizations, in which I would definitely support. But I want to ask you, how many black-owned grocery stores, how many black-owned gas stations, how many black-owned car dealerships do you have in your neighborhood? Okay? That's the question I have, because in my neighborhood, I don't know of any. So in order for me to not patronize these stores that racially profile me, I would just have to not shop anywhere, to not be able to get anything for myself, which I think is unfair. I think that I acted justly and righteously and intellectually and responsibly by showing, as a normal civilian, how I'm treated. If I were to show this video to the Better Business Bureau, they would investigate this company. It's not about the fact that I still bought the water at the end. Obviously, I won't go back, but I'm going to end it on this. If you remember the story of Rosa Parks, who we consider a great civilian hero or a civil rights leader, basically she was on a bus, she paid her fare, and they told her to get up because she was black and the white person wanted to get up. She didn't get up and leave the bus because, oh, they don't want my business, so I'm not going to. She stayed on there until she was physically removed. And yes, they boycotted her, but she stayed there and proved her point. which is what I did. So I didn't want to make any excuses, but I wanted to clarify. And please vibrate high.